The thunderclap shattered the night like God's own revolver, jolting rancher Harlan Cole from his whiskey-induced stupor. Rain lashed his isolated cabin in the New Mexico Badlands, the wind howling like a banshee through the cracks in the walls. He staggered to the door, peering into the storm-swept darkness, when a flash of lightning revealed her, a woman on horseback, drenched and swaying, her serape clinging like a second skin. Before he could shout, her horse bucked, throwing her into the mud. Harlan cursed, grabbing his lantern and rushing out, the rain stinging his face like needles. He knelt beside her, turning her over, and froze. Her face was beautiful, olive-skinned with high cheekbones, but her eyes, dark as midnight, fluttered open, locking onto his with an intensity that sent a chill down his spine unrelated to the cold. "Ayuda," she whispered in Spanish. "Help." But it was the necklace around her throat that stopped his heart. A silver cross etched with a name he hadn't seen in 20 years, his own. He carried her inside, her body light but feverish, laying her on his cot by the fire. She murmured in delirium as he stripped her wet clothes, draping her in blankets with averted eyes, his hands shaking not just from the cold. Who was she? A traveler caught in the storm or something more sinister? The cross, how did she have it? He'd lost one like it during the war, back when he was a different man, before he fled to this godforsaken corner of the frontier. As he stoked the fire, she stirred, her hand clutching an oilskin pouch at her side. Curiosity burned, but he resisted peeking. Instead, he poured coffee, waiting for the storm to break, and for answers. By dawn, the rain eased to a drizzle, but the woman, Rosa, she said her name was, awoke with a gasp, her eyes wide with fear. "Donde estoy?" she asked, sitting up. Harlan explained in broken Spanish, offering broth. She was Mexican, a widow from south of the border, traveling to find family in Santa Fe. The storm had driven her off course. But as she sipped, her gaze drifted to the scars on his arms, souvenirs from a saloon brawl he thought no one knew about. "You fight like a man with secrets," she said in accented English, her voice soft but probing. Harlan grunted, avoiding her eyes. How could she know? It was just a guess, he told himself. Yet when she reached for her pouch, pulling out an old leather journal, his blood ran cold. The cover was worn, stamped with a faded brand, the same as the one on his cattle. She noticed his stare. "This? It belonged to my husband. He died last year, but he wrote of a man, like you." Harlan's hand tightened on his cup. "What man?" She flipped pages, her fingers trembling slightly, and read aloud, "Harlan Cole, the ghost of the Rio Grande." His name. Spoken in a stranger's cabin, by a woman he'd never met. Shock rippled through him. "How do you have that?" he demanded, standing. Rosa closed the book, her expression calm but edged with sorrow. "My husband knew you. From the war. He said you saved his life, then betrayed him." Betrayed? Harlan's mind raced back to '65, the chaos of the border skirmishes, when he'd ridden with a band of raiders. He'd left that life behind, buried it under years of ranching solitude. But if this journal held truths, it could unravel everything. He snatched the book, scanning the yellowed pages. Entries in Spanish, dates from 2 decades ago, mentioning raids, stolen gold, and a double cross that left men dead. His name appeared repeatedly, linked to a heist gone wrong. "This is lies," he growled, tossing it back. But doubt crept in. Why did she come here, of all places? Rosa stood, wincing from her fall. "I didn't come for trouble. The storm brought me." "But the journal, it mentions a map. To hidden treasure from that raid." "Treasure?" Harlan laughed bitterly. He'd heard rumors, but never believed them. Yet her eyes held no deception, only a quiet intensity. As he turned away, a knock echoed at the door, sharp, insistent. His hand went to his revolver. Who could it be, out here? Peering through the crack, he saw a soaked rider, badge glinting on his vest, Sheriff Kane from town. Harlan opened the door a sliver. "What brings you in this mess, Sheriff?" Kane's eyes flicked past him to Rosa. "Heard reports of a woman matching her description. Wanted for questioning, something about a murdered husband." Harlan's gut twisted. "Murdered?" Rosa paled behind him, shaking her head subtly. "She's just a traveler," he lied, blocking the view. Kane smirked. "Mind if I come in?" Harlan hesitated, then stepped aside, his mind whirling. Was Rosa a killer? Or was this a setup? As Kane entered, dripping water, Rosa slipped the journal back into her pouch, her movements too quick, too calculated. Over coffee, Kane grilled her. "Crossed the border legally?" She nodded, producing papers that looked forged to Harlan's trained eye. He'd run contraband once. But Kane bought it, or pretended to, his gaze lingering on her necklace. "Nice cross. Seen one like it before." Harlan tensed. Did Kane know about his past? The sheriff left with warnings about bandits in the area, but his parting glance felt like a threat. Alone again, Harlan turned to Rosa. "Truth. Now." She sighed, sitting. "My husband wasn't murdered. He died of illness. But he was involved in that old raid. The journal proves it, and implicates you in a betrayal that cost lives." Harlan paced, memories flooding, the night of the heist, gold from a Confederate shipment, a partner turning on him. He'd shot first, survived, fled with nothing. "I didn't betray anyone," he insisted. But the journal's details matched too closely. Then she dropped the bomb. "There's more. Your name isn't just in the entries. You're mentioned as family." "Family?" Harlan stopped cold. He'd been an orphan, raised in missions, no kin to speak of. "Impossible." Rosa opened the journal to a dog-eared page, pointing to a faded photograph tucked inside, a young man who looked like Harlan, arm around a Mexican woman holding a baby. "My husband wrote this as you, as a boy. With your mother." His world tilted. Mother? He'd been told she died in childbirth. But the resemblance was uncanny. "He said you were separated during the war. He was your half-brother." Half-brother? The revelation hit like a gut punch. If true, Rosa was his sister-in-law. But why the secrets? As thunder rumbled again, a new suspicion dawned. Was she here for revenge, not shelter? He demanded the full story. Rosa confessed, she'd found the journal after her husband's death, pieced together clues leading to Harlan's ranch. The storm was coincidence, or fate. "I came for answers. About the gold. About why he died cursing your name." Harlan's anger flared. "I didn't know him." But doubts nagged. That night, as she slept, he rifled through her pouch, finding a small pistol, loaded. Was it for protection, or him? Sleep evaded him, the journal's words echoing. By morning, he decided to test her. "Show me the map." She hesitated, then sketched it from memory, a canyon nearby, marked with an X. "The gold's there. But it's cursed." They rode out together, the sun breaking through clouds, but Harlan kept his gun loose in the holster. The canyon was a jagged scar in the earth, wind whispering through rocks like ghosts. As they dismounted, Rosa pointed to a boulder. "Under there." Harlan dug, sweat mixing with unease. Clink, his shovel hit metal. A rusted box emerged, heavy with promise. Inside, gold coins, glittering. But also letters, yellowed, addressed to "Mi hermano Harlan." "My brother Harlan." His hands shook as he read, confessions of shared blood, a mother who abandoned him to protect him from raiders. The betrayal? Harlan had unknowingly shot their informant during the heist, his own kin. Guilt crashed over him. You knew, he accused Rosa. She nodded. I wanted you to see for yourself. But as he pocketed a coin, hoofbeats echoed. Ambush? 3 riders crested the ridge, guns drawn, bandits, or worse. Hand over the gold, the leader barked. Harlan fired first, dropping one, but a bullet grazed his arm. Rosa grabbed her pistol, shooting with deadly accuracy, felling another. The last fled. Breathless, Harlan stared at her. Where'd you learn to shoot like that? She smiled faintly. My husband taught me. Your brother. The word brother hung heavy, stirring emotions he'd long suppressed. Back at the ranch, they buried the gold under the floorboards, for now. But suspense built. That night, a note slipped under the door. I know what you found. Share or die. Who? Cain? The escaped bandit? Harlan barricaded the doors, revolver ready. Rosa whispered, there's more in the journal. A final entry. She read, if Harlan lives, tell him our mother's alive. In Mexico. Alive? His heart raced. All these years, thinking he was alone. But was it a trap? They planned to ride south at dawn, but sleep brought nightmares, faces from the past, accusing eyes. Awakening to a creek, Harlan found Rosa gone, the journal open to a blank page. Panic surged. Had she betrayed him? He saddled up, tracking her prints toward town. In the saloon, he found her arguing with Cain. You promised protection, she hissed. Harlan burst in. What's this? Cain drew, but Rosa intervened. He's with me. Twist, Cain was her contact, a corrupt lawman after the gold. But Rosa claimed it was a ruse to draw out real threats. Trust me, she pleaded. A shootout erupted as bandits stormed in. Bullets flew, Harlan took cover, firing back. Cain fell, wounded but alive. Rosa saved Harlan, dragging him out. The note was from him, she admitted. He forced me. Fleeing to the ranch, truths unraveled. Rosa confessed, she wasn't just a widow. She was the daughter of their shared mother, making her his half-sister. The journal was forged partially, to lure him into confronting the past. Mother sent me. She's dying, wants to see you. Harlan reeled. Sister? Not sister-in-law. The necklace, hers from birth, engraved by their mother. Regret flooded him for the lost years. They rode for Mexico, gold left behind as atonement. But en route, suspense mounted, camped by a river, shadows moved. Attackers, survivors from the old raid, seeking vengeance. Harlan fought fiercely, but one grabbed Rosa, knife to her throat. You killed my pa, the man snarled. Harlan recognized him, a boy from back then, now grown. In a desperate move, he offered the gold's location. The man hesitated, then fled with the info. Safe, but shaken, Harlan questioned everything. Was Rosa's story true? Arriving at a hacienda, an old woman awaited, frail, eyes like his. Hijo, she whispered. Son. Tears flowed as she confirmed, abandoned him for safety, remarried, had Rosa. The brother? A lie to protect the family secret. Harlan embraced her, forgiveness blooming. But as she passed that night, peacefully, Rosa slipped him a final letter, the gold was never real. It was bait, to bring you home. Home? Harlan realized the gold was fool's gold, planted. Rosa's smile turned sly. Mother's last wish, redeem you. But the end twist, back at the ranch weeks later, digging up the box for proof, he found real gold beneath the false layer, and a note from his mother, your inheritance. But the real treasure is family. Yet scratched below, in fresh ink, or revenge. Rosa's handwriting. She was gone, with half the gold, her widow, Storia Khan. The mysterious Mexican had played him, unearthing his past only to rob his future. Alone again, Harlan wondered if any of it was true, or if the storm had brought a devil in disguise. The wind howled, carrying echoes of laughter, and he loaded his gun, ready for whatever came knocking next.